Hello and welcome to my channel, Hunting for Rares, the channel where I look for the rarest and scarcest Pokemon cards, whether that be by opening packs or buying cards from other collectors and on the eBay platform. So today I'm going to be talking about how you can actually sell Pokemon cards on eBay, whether that is by selling your current collection or you are looking to flip cards for a profit. Now, before I talk about some of my top tips for more sales, I would just like to mention that I'm actually doing a 100 subscriber giveaway on my channel, and a Charizard is up for grabs. So if you click the link in the description, you will learn exactly how you can enter that giveaway. So without further ado, let's look at the top 5 tips that I personally have found that have made me sell a lot more of my Pokemon cards on eBay. So first and foremost, always sell singles. So if you are looking to sell Pokemon cards on eBay, you will notice that they are often sold as singles, and there is a good reason for that. Now, bulk listings usually sell for a lot less than the individual cards in the bundle are worth. And the reason for this is that nobody can find these cards through the searches alone. Because of the way an eBay listing is set up, where you have to enter the title, the description, and specify different elements of what the card or cards or item is all about, people can't, you can't enter all of that information for a bulk bundle. So let's say, for example, you have a Venusaur, a Blastoise, and a Charizard. When it comes to entering into the bar exactly what that product is, you can't enter all three. And from an algorithm perspective, when people go into eBay to search for a Blastoise, a Charizard, they're only going to see those individual cards listed from other sellers. They're not going to find, or very unlikely to find, your bulk listing set of 3, even if they're after, all 3 of those cards. And that leads me to my second point. People don't always want a Blastoise, a Charizard, and a Venusaur. They want to buy the card individually. That's what people are. These are collectors. Pokemon. A lot of Pokemon. Buyers of Pokemon cards on eBay are collectors, and they're looking to add specific cards to their collection that they don't already have. They don't generally want to buy a bundle. So always look to sell singles. Not only will it be easier for you to sell those cards, but you'll also command a higher price. So at the bottom you see that little screenshot. That is one of the bundles I actually purchased because of its price. You can see there I paid £9 in total. This is the first page, the little image you see here of the cards. None of those look particularly great. This is from the Wizards of the Coast collection. None of those are rares. But bear in mind, there was 6 pages of these cards. So I think I bought around 50 Wizards of the Coast cards, and on page 5, Charizard. Buy it now with best offer. So when you're looking to sell Pokemon cards, I would strongly recommend that you list them as a buy it now with the option to receive offers. And there's quite a few reasons for this, not only through thinking about buyer psychology, where someone wants to get something right now. They don't want to wait and have to sit and wait on an auction. Secondly, if you see someone's already put a bid on an auction, you're not likely to wait. You may not even be likely to put a bid in because you fear the competition and it might drive the price up. So a lot of buyers are put off when they see an auction. So buy it now generally tend to sell better. And when it comes to setting buy it now prices, first and foremost, always research the current price of the card. Obviously, Pokemon cards are always fluctuating, so you want to get an idea of what the card is selling for at that precise time. It can change week on week. So if you sold a a Charizard 4 weeks ago, it might not be. It's likely not going to be worth the same now. So always check the sold listings before you list. Then you want to set your prices in relation to the card condition. So if you, this is regardless of the type of card you're selling, whether it's something as standard and as common as a Pidgey, or something as rare as, let's say, a Mewtwo from the Wizard of the Coast set. Now, when you set your price, you obviously, it goes really without saying, the better quality condition of the card, the more you can command for it. But you really want to think about setting the price fairly against the condition, and you want to be able to set a price that diversifies you from the competition. So obviously you always want to sell cards that are in better condition, but don't always get stuck on doing that. Sometimes you can sell cards that are in worse condition, but you just have to factor that into the prices, and that may affect your profit margins or your sales. Now, I'd also recommend that you set your prices slightly higher than the market average, and then you can come down if you need to. If with a buy it now, if you sell it, if you undervalue it, it will sell and it's gone, and then there's nothing you can do about it. Whereas if you set your price slightly higher, you can always come down in time if there's not a buyer for that card. Additionally, the trend is across Pokemon cards is that they're going up in value. So in time, you may find that your card might not sell today for say £10, but it will sell for £10 in 3 weeks because of the trend upwards in Pokemon cards. Obviously, I'm talking generally. I don't wish to offer financial advice here. This is just what I've noticed. It's observing trends. So I would recommend that you set your prices slightly higher. Maybe you can't do that. Maybe you want a fast sale. Maybe you need the money right now. But typically, this is what tends to work well if you're looking to command higher prices for your cards. So another reason why I'd suggest buy it now is you can set up your listing with a best offer. So watchers will come along. You'll see here on the Charizard. This is, I wouldn't buy this card. This is pretty horrific. I don't think it's pen or something. But look at this card here. It's a sponsored post, so they're obviously paying to be at the top of search. But they've got 16 watchers on it at £75, even with this massive mark on it. And they've said lightly played. I'm not quite sure about that. I mean, that's lightly penned, maybe. But when you receive watchers on an eBay listing, then you can offer them a price that you think is acceptable, that you're willing to take. So let's say this card, the seller here may be wanting or seeking £70. Well, by setting it at £75, when he gets at watchers, he can then offer it at 70 and get what he wanted, whilst offering what looks like a deal to the watcher. So they're more inclined to buy. If they're interested at 75, they're going to be interested at 70. And in fact, they're probably, with 16 watchers, they're going to want to get that deal while it's there. So always enable offers and send watchers an acceptable price that you're willing to take. Be patient, because this method of selling, you're probably not going to be selling in the quantity that you maybe have if you're going the other way and setting below the market trend. So you've got to be willing to be patient, but it is very much worth it if you can stay the course. So number 3, optimize your listing. Now this may seem really obvious, and you may fill this out every time as best as you can, and you may just naturally go through all of the different items when doing your listing. But a lot of people don't, and that's a missed opportunity, because as you'll even see here, this is from the desktop version of eBay. You don't actually get this in the mobile, so that's one thing to consider. But when you look here, it shows you how many searches are for that specific entry. So just by putting Pokemon in, you're not only increasing your chances of being found, but you're also complying with the eBay algorithm. You're letting the algorithm work in your favor. So you want to fill out as many as you can. And this is again is why the bulk orders are just not great. What can you put as, what if you had three cards, one was near mint and the other two were terrible? Well, how are you supposed to put that without deceiving the buyer and all the complications that come with that? So single listings and then optimize them. So product listing title, the product listing title, you want that to completely explain what it is. So here, okay, questions on the lightly played, but look at this listing, very good. Pokemon is said the number in the collection, you've got the Charizard, it's a holo, it's from the base, you've got the condition, which as I say is wrong, it's a vintage Wizard of the Coast trade carding game. It's a great listing title. I've got no faults with that at all. It's going to be found, which is why it has been found. I know it's sponsored, but great listing title. You don't want it to just say Pokemon card Blastoise. Who is going to be searching? Well, people will be searching that, but some product listing titles, especially the shorter they are, do not warrant themselves to high searches. And think about it logically, that the ordering of what people will be searching, Charizard holo base, people will probably be searching for that. You want to think about and list it in a way that people are searching, and the auto suggest on eBay can help you do that. So when you start typing into eBay at the top, it will even give you suggestions of what people are searching. So leverage that as well. Fill out the description. Just give an overview of what the condition is, and be honest as well. Don't lie. Don't say it's near mint when it's moderately played, because all that's going to happen is you're going to really annoy the buyer, and they're likely going to file for a refund, and then you've got to pay for all the hassle, the inconvenience, and the cost of getting it returned to you. Not worth it. So be honest. And your buyers will appreciate that, and they'll likely buy from you. People. There's a massive misconception that you need to have an amazing condition card. You don't. You just need your prices to reflect the condition. And people, some people can't afford the near mints. It's an expensive hobby. So if you're selling lower condition cards, you are likely to find a buyer. Just make sure your prices are reflective of that. So here's an example. Everything I can's filled out. Probably should have put modified no, because it wasn't. But here's just one example of a dark Blastoise that I was selling. It was a PSA card, actually, PSA 10. So you want to fill out as much as possible. It will really help your listings be found and your cards purchased. Number 4, good pictures. Now this kind of goes without saying, but again, you'll be surprised how many people just don't do enough here. Your picture on eBay is selling your card. This is people, for a hobby like Pokemon, people really care about the condition of their cards. Fair enough. I do as well. So make sure you do good pictures, which not only are a fair representation of the condition, but also just show it in all its in how exactly how it is. Even if it's got flaws in it, a crease, make sure you take good pictures, show those pictures, and do all you can. Show different angles, different lighting. So get your lighting optimal. Do it in the morning, not the evening, etc. And make sure that the card just looks like the card you're selling, because you'll be surprised. Some pictures you take, you'll think, my card looks nothing like that, even though you've taken pictures. So 6 to 10 pictures is best. Oh, apologies, I've really messed up here. So good picture, 6 to 10 pictures are best for the eBay algorithm. And then obviously, as I said, take pictures accurately and make sure you're giving a fair representation of the condition. Different angles, close-ups, far away. If you've got a holo, you want to really show that holo in all its glory. If there's any scratches, really show them. And lastly, make sure you take a picture of the back of the card. This is very important to collectors. The white edging is, some that will turn people off. You need to take good pictures of all of the card and the back. More the better. So you might have already seen this because of my little error. But anyway, number 5, sell in demand cards. Again, probably sounds a little bit obvious, but you'll be surprised at how many people flip Pokemon cards. who will focus on the completely wrong cards in terms whether that's it's not just on the card itself. So it might not just be on the Pokemon itself, I should say. Sorry. So it might not just be on people trying to sell Pidgeys and people trying to sell. I haven't got a thing for Pidgeys, by the way. I mentioned them several times. Pidgeys are an absolutely fair card, fair Pokemon, but people don't really want it. So stick with the classics, and also I mentioned obviously the Pokemon itself, but think about the collections as well. Wizards of the Coast are always, well, at the moment, they're in demand. Some of the other collections are not so much. So that goes to show why a Charizard from the original Wizard of the Coast series is 10, if not 20 times the price of one from, say, Flashfire. So think about the classics, what people love, what people are used to. So you need to think about the market and not just your own preferences and what you like. Your favorite Pokemon might be a Vaporeon, and it's a great card, it looks great, but how many people want it? That's ultimately, if you're selling cards, that's the trick. That's what you need to do. So look at the Holos, Wizard of the Coast, and the base sets, and think about the cards that you're selling. If you can, focus on one of the Blastoise, Charizard, Venusaur. You can even venture into the Team Rocket collection and go the same way. Dark Charizard, Dark Blastoise. And as part of this, check past sales and see how often they sell, because you might have a fantastic card and you won't know if it's in demand until you see how frequently it's selling. So click the sold listings and just look at the dates that they're sold, and think about how often they're selling, and how willing you are to keep hold of that card, and how long you're looking to make the sale on. Then you want to focus on a few select cards. You don't have to, it's just my suggestion. It's worked particularly well for me. But if you focus on a few select cards, then you can learn the market for that specific card. This makes the whole process so much easier, especially if you're buying cards to flip, because then exactly, when it comes to buying a card, you'll know exactly what your maximum price you should be paying for is, and you won't pay over the odds on an auction. And equally, when it comes to selling, when these cards come through for you to list, you'll just be able to list them a lot easier, a lot quicker. You know what to expect. Your margins. You just all the numbers add up a lot easier. And then finally, rinse and repeat. So find cards that sell. Just do it time and time again. Find them at a good price and sell them time and time again, with all of the other tips as suggested in this video. So I hope this has been useful. These are 5 of the best tips that I'm currently using, making a lot of good sales with Pokemon cards at the moment. As I say, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be releasing a lot more videos like this, and don't forget about my 100 subscriber giveaway. There's a nice Charizard up for grabs, so be sure to enter. I hope this is helpful. I hope to see you on this channel again in the future, and I wish you all the best.